Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I am going to walk you through the internal architecture of Kubernetes. Most engineers get this wrong because they treat the system as a collection of static files instead of a living, breathing reconciliation engine. And you know why this matters? Because when your production cluster hits a bottleneck at 3 in the morning, you need to understand how the control plane and data plane actually talk to each other to fix it. Let's dive into the core components that make up a production-grade Kubernetes cluster. We are going to move past the surface-level definitions and look at the state machines that keep your software running. These are the 6 areas we are going to cover in this video. We start with the control plane, move to the worker nodes, look at how data is stored, and finally deconstruct the reconciliation loop that drives every action in the cluster. Specifically, that includes the control plane anatomy, data plane internals, the etcd store, the reconciliation loop, production failure patterns, and performance impacts. So do not skip ahead, watch all the way through to actually understand this properly. Quick note before we dive in, this channel shares practical IT tutorials every week. So if that is useful to you, hit subscribe and join our WhatsApp community linked in the description for more resources. So what do you already know about Kubernetes? You know it as an orchestrator that takes your YAML files and keeps your applications alive. If you have followed our previous deep dive on pods, you know they are the smallest deployable units. But the surface behavior using kubectl to push a deployment masks a massive amount of internal coordination. It feels like magic, but every single operation is just the result of a specific handshake between internal components. So what is the control plane really? It is the brain of your cluster. It acts as the central point of authority. It consists of 4 main components. You have the API server, which is the gateway for all communication. You have the scheduler, which assigns pods to nodes. You have the controller manager, which runs the control loops. And you have etcd, which is the source of truth. Together, these components make global decisions about your cluster, such as scheduling and detecting and responding to cluster events. Now let us shift to the data plane or the worker nodes. While the control plane makes the decisions, the data plane does the heavy lifting. Each worker node runs 2 critical services. First is the kubelet, which is the agent that ensures containers are running in a pod. Second is kubeproxy, which maintains network rules across your services. This separation is vital. It allows the cluster to scale to thousands of nodes without overloading the brain. When you run these commands, you are querying the state of the data plane. The first command on line 1 gives you a high-level view of your worker nodes and their infrastructure attributes. The command on line 3 is far more powerful. This is exactly what the output should look like. Notice the status is ready. If that status were false, the kubelet on that node would be unreachable. The allocatable values tell you exactly how much room you have for new workloads. Now let us talk about etcd. Why is it so special? It is a distributed, consistent key value store. It is the only stateful component of the control plane. Every single piece of data about your cluster, from pods and services to secrets and config maps, lives here. If etcd fails, your cluster effectively dies. That is why it uses the raft consensus algorithm to ensure high availability across multiple replicas. If you lose quorum, you cannot make any changes to the cluster state. How does the reconciliation loop actually work? This is the heart of the system. Controllers constantly watch the actual state of the cluster and compare it to the desired state stored in etcd. If they do not match, the controller takes action to bridge the gap. For example, if you delete a pod, the deployment controller notices a mismatch. It then communicates with the API server to request a replacement. This is why Kubernetes is self-healing. It never stops checking the state. You can observe this loop in real time. The first command on line 1 sets up a watch stream. When you delete a pod on line 3, you see the immediate reaction on your screen. Look at the sequence here. The pod terminates, and immediately a new one is created in a pending state. This happens in milliseconds. If you have a cluster with hundreds of microservices, this is happening thousands of times per hour. What happens when things go wrong? These are the 4 most common production failure modes. First is XZD quorum loss, which effectively freezes your cluster. Second is API server overload, often caused by poorly written custom controllers. Third is kubelet starvation, where the node runs out of memory and kills your processes. And fourth is controller manager latency, which results in slow scaling or pod restarts. If you do not monitor these 4 areas, you are just waiting for a production outage. What does this mean for your code? The internal architecture has real performance consequences. A PI server latency slows down everything. HCD snapshotting can cause brief write pauses during heavy traffic. Node density increases the CPU load on your kubelets, and network overlay overhead adds milliseconds to every single internal service call. If you are building high-frequency trading or low-latency streaming services, you must account for these overheads in your architecture design. These are the core internal principles. Kubernetes is a declarative, state-based system driven by loops. The control plane maintains global state in the etcd store. Controllers bridge the gap between actual and desired state. Worker nodes execute instructions provided by the control plane. And you should always monitor API server latency and etcd health for stability. If you understand these 5 principles, you can debug almost any production issue. If this deep dive helped you understand your cluster better, hit subscribe to stay updated on our weekly production-grade tutorials. Join our WhatsApp community linked in the description to connect with other engineers solving these same problems. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.